In our series on videos of DPIA, let's talk about the roles of the various stakeholders in an organization and how their collaboration can help perform better DPIA and improve the privacy standards of the organization. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy, and as I mentioned, we are going to talk about how collaboration between various stakeholders can help improvise the privacy standards of an organization. Quick look at the definition of DPIA. It's a systematic approach that an organization should take in order to reassess and study the various processes that handle personal data. These processes, as defined under the Indian DPIA Act, could be collecting personal information, storing personal information, using personal information, disclosing it to any other third party, or destroying personal information of any attached individual with the business. Could be an employee, could be a customer, could be a vendor, could be any external collaboration. All these relationships, any personal data if you handle, you need to be compliant with the DPIA Act. And to be compliant, it is generally recommended all over the world, all rules, that you should do DPIA. DPIA Act also talks about DPIA, but we are still awaiting of the detailed rules. So maybe the details change later, but the standard is that they should conduct DPIA, especially if they are handling sensitive data, large volumes of data, and generally this should be done in 3 months or 6 months. For a smaller or less volume of data, maybe it could be an annual exercise, or to be performed whenever you change or upgrade any of the data processing processes or add a new process. Now, what is the role of stakeholders when it comes to DPIA? Stakeholders have different insights, and within one business, different stakeholders look at the same business from different angles. They all know separately as to how do they want personal data to be handled and how do they commit the responsibility of personal data to the external world. They have diverse expertise and they know the business better, and they can help you align with the organizational goals as well. They can help plan the compliance priority, they can help plan the compliance budget. So different stakeholders should always be involved to collaborate to create the data privacy charts and help improvise the various DPIA matrices. And it is also important to understand that it would be the stakeholders' involvement which would make the implementation of any privacy related activity even easier. And stakeholders should definitely collaborate with each other. Now, who are the key stakeholders and what are their roles? It could be senior management, it could be data protection officers, IT and security team, legal and compliance team, various department heads, and data owners. When we talk of department heads, we talk of HR, we talk of admin, we talk of logistics, and they all handle personal data, right? So even if HR is not dealing with external world, there is a lot of internal personal data. So what are their roles and what are their responsibilities? DPO's responsibility is to oversee the entire DPIA process. While data privacy is a business function, not an IT function, even DPO would be a business function expected to have some knowledge of law. So his job is to oversee the overall data protection impact assessment and consult with the various teams on how it works for their organization. Senior management would have a better insight. Why? Because they are first required to support the entire privacy and DPIA initiative, but then they are the ones who can help you prioritize the risks. This prioritization could be based on the risk of data breach and its impact. It could also be based on the cost of mitigating that risk. Fine? Because there's a very senior management who is allocating budgets also. And it could help align the entire organization with the privacy policies. Then you have IT and security. They are the real implementers, right? They do the technical assessment. They help avoid the intrusions through firewalls, through access controls. They know the entire data flow, purpose of the data flow. They control the entire security system of an organization. Legal and compliance help interpret the regulations, help meet legal standards, and handle submissions to regulators. So they also have a critical role in DPIA because they would guide how the regulation, the law written would work for them, how should the legal standards be taken care of while creating reports, and how would they get submitted to the regulators to satisfy the regulators. Then you have departments. Every department knows what personal data they use and how they use it. What is the risk if it is lost? For example, I have been taking examples of HR department. right? So HR has various functions. One is the handling of personal data of the people working with you. But what if when they leave the organization, how would their personal data be handled then? What if when they apply for the job, they give their personal data? They get accepted, fine. They get rejected or they don't join, then how is the organization handling the personal data, right? So DPIA has to be conducted with them also separately. Importantly, you should understand the processing processes they are using and help them implement the mitigation measures. I'm not talking of HR alone here. These are common for every department. I just gave an example of HR, but this is true for all the departments. What is the benefit of involving stakeholders? You get comprehensive identification of risk, not only as individual departments, but with the interdepartmental link between personal data. Again, if I take only HR example, it's not only the HR who knows the people working, right? Their own department heads know who is working. Right? And if there could be some roles which are common, for example, admin and security person is going to handle in and out of any department person, right? So his personal HR, his handling of the movement register of other department people is all like, so they have, the HR knows what could go wrong with the personal data there, and collaborating with each other and helping all stakeholders getting involved could help us prepare better risk mitigation processes. Increased accountability within the department and departmental people and the department heads or the stakeholders can communicate that well within the system. Compliance, of course, would improve, so enhanced compliance and continuous improvement on the data privacy compliance within the organization. So it is very, very important that all the stakeholders are involved, all the departments are involved, and they collaborate with each other to ensure that the personal data is handled carefully. And I come back again to that, privacy is a culture. So all of them need to work together to create a culture in the organization and reach as much as possible, redefine your processes as much as possible, that you reach the privacy by design model proposed by Dr. Ann Koviukian from Canada. That's what about the stakeholder involvement in DPIA. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the like and the bell icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.